Good morning, guys. Well, what an interesting morning. Today we're about 2 or 3 kilometers south of the small community of Avening in central Ontario. Now, for the last week, every day we've had these painted blue skies, temperatures between 75 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And just a constant kind of bright, harsh light. But yesterday it started raining, and it rained all day, and it rained hard, and it made me think to myself, you know what, tomorrow morning we may have some character, we may have some interesting light. There's been a couple of places I've been wanting to get to and photograph, but there's only really a short window that you can do that, simply because it's harvest time. Tomorrow, at least I think it's tomorrow anyhow. But anyhow, tomorrow is the first day of fall. So harvest time is definitely here. Now, I'd noticed this red barn, and as you know, I love shooting barns, especially red ones, with a harvested field of hay in front of it, leading up into a big hill. This is what we're hiking today. Today's hike is actually about 6.5 kilometers. A lot of it's pretty much straight up, but hey, what goes up must come down, so that's fine. But we want to go photograph that field and that barn because it looked good, and I thought, you know what, today's light might be interesting. It might do it. Okay, now, the location I'm wanting to photograph first is actually right here. I'll turn the GoPro around. You can kind of look that way. You can maybe see the farm field that's harvested with the big rolls, round rolls of hay, and the red barn in the distance. So that's the first area I want to photograph. Now, right now the sun is really bright, but it is changing because there is a lot of cloud, and there's actually a lot of low-lying fog in certain areas still. So we're going to make our way, however we can do that. We're going to make our way down this ditch. At least try to without hurting ourselves. And we're going to get ourselves into this field. Now, this is farm field, so it's obviously private land. However, hopefully if we don't do too much disturbance, hopefully they'll let us take pictures. Actually, it's a beautiful place. It really is. Not a lot of fall colors yet, but we do have some. As I mentioned, tomorrow is the first day of fall. So you know what? Let me get the tripod set up. Let's have a little look here and see what we can do. Because this really is quite pretty. Okay, so we're all set up here. This is what we're looking at right here. So you can see the rolls or the bales, the round bales of hay with the red barn, the trees and the hills behind. Would be nice if we had a little bit more fall colors, but as I say, it's just the beginning of fall. We are going to get more fall colors as the month and especially October kind of progresses. But anyhow, right now we're set up on a tripod. I'm using my Canon 7D. I'm using my basic 18 to 55mm kit lens. My settings, I have an ISO of 100, I have an f-stop of f11, and that's giving me a shutter speed of 1/200th of a second. So, I've tried to compose this line of, bales or round bales of hay pushing towards the barn. I've composed that in the right 1/3 of the image. Let's take a shot. Let's see what happens. There. That's the shot. Hey, let's take a look at that shot right now. It is absolutely really nice here, and I noticed that there's leading lines from the harvesting marks running through the field and again pushing up towards the barn. So in a few minutes we're going to move further north, I guess, a couple of 100 yards, see if we can incorporate some of those leading lines. But what I've just done is I've just changed lenses from my 18 to 55mm kit lens to my 55 to 250mm lens. I want to try to compress this. I want to try to make it look, or try to bring things a little tighter. So let's just have a look here. In fact, somewhere about there looks good. So actually right now we have a focal length of about 95mm. Same settings. We have an ISO of 100. We have f11. We have a shutter speed of, actually now we have a shutter speed of 1/320th of a second. Let's take the shot. And let's take a look and see what that looks like. We're just moving over a little bit, about 200 or 300 yards to the north of our last location. We're going to see if we can incorporate any of the leading lines pushing up towards the barn. Yeah, so tomorrow's the first day of fall. Now, here in Ontario, we have amazing color changes on the trees, absolutely stunning. So for the next 6 weeks, we've got a great time to take landscape images. Right now it's just beginning, but pretty soon, all these trees are going to be ablaze with color. And it really is an amazing time here. Okay, so that was fun. And oh, it's a big hill. But anyhow, as I was saying, about 6.5 kilometers in length. It's a big square. Here in Ontario, we have these concession roads that make these big square boxes, if you will. And that's what we're kind of hiking today. Now in the background there, you can see the red barn that we were just shooting. And we're continuing up the hill here because there are a few other places that I've noticed that I would like to take or capture an image from. But you know, I want to tell you a little something, a little story really. Sometimes you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't. Well, last March, for instance, last March I was in England photographing the Lake District. I was there for about 8 days on this photography expedition. And about 6 weeks before I left, I purchased some really quite expensive boots, hiking boots. So when I get to England and I start my hiking through all the trails, mountains, and so on of the Lake District, which by the way is absolutely amazing, these boots after like 2 days just disintegrated. They just fell apart. Now, I was actually staying in a small community or small town, I guess at the north end of the Lake District, called Portinscale. And right next to that is a town called Keswick. It's spelled Keswick, but the English people pronounce it Keswick. And in that town, there's several kind of mountain climbing, hiking, gear kind of stores, but one of them in particular, it's kind of a big store. I wish I knew the name, but I don't. I should have got the name. I could look on the receipt, but anyhow. And it's kind of on a corner or bend in the town of Keswick. So I go in there and I said to the guy, listen, I bought these really expensive boots and they've fallen apart. This is what I'm doing. My goodness, it's beautiful. Wow. I really got to pay attention to where I'm going here because it's stunning. Anyhow, and I showed him my boots and he said, well, those things are no good, that's for sure. I said, but listen, this is what I've got. And he showed me a pair of boots, really good boots. They cost £210 and the brand name was Solomon. And yes, no doubt, amazing boots, but just way out of my price range. And I told him that. I said, you know what, I can't afford £210. He said, okay, take a look at these. He says we have a great deal of good reports, good reviews about these boots. Now this fella, he was actually from Hungary. He lived in England, worked there at the hiking and mountain climbing store, and he'd been into hiking and mountain climbing all his life. And he said we have some really good reviews on these boots. They cost 40 English pounds. Give them a try. So I tried a pair on and hey, I got a pair that fit. And those boots have been amazing. Absolutely amazing. Here, let me take a second. Let me show you these boots. There. You see those boots? That's them right there. So I paid 40 English pounds for those. Far, far, far better than the ones I spent a lot more money on than that to buy in Canada. So, sometimes you get what you pay for. Sometimes you don't. Yeah, I just thought I'd tell you that way we were hiking up this hill here. Just to pass the time. Yeah, keep that in mind. It's a beautiful day. Some of the colors we were talking about are just starting to happen on this tree. And this is just beautiful in here. Some beautiful light, some beautiful color. Yeah. You know what? Let's see if we can get a shot of that. We just stopped at this little place. Now there's a home here, and you can see the home, but right next to it, it's really quite an interesting little view. There's a little like a tool shed. There's a little kind of stream type, whatever it is, just kind of pushing up past the fence and the trees. And in the distance, there's some cows on top of the hill. It's really quite pretty. I'm going to try to take a shot of that. The temperature has really jumped up now. It's about 85, 88 degrees Fahrenheit, high humidity, very sweaty. Well, that's okay. I actually prefer the warm weather than I do the cold. Here in Canada, we have amazing summers. 80, 90 degrees, 95 degrees Fahrenheit is not uncommon. Of course, in the winter, we have real winter too. But anyhow, I just climbed down an embankment because from the dirt roadway, I could see what looked to be like a little pond. So here we are. This is what I came across. It's just like a little pond. It's beautiful. Sure, I decided to take a few shots. Now, I did put my polarizer on. The sun is about 90 degrees to my right. So I did use a polarizer. And again, I just used my 18 to 55mm kit lens. Yeah. So the adventure continues. It's pretty cool. Right at this point, we're probably about halfway around the hike. So yeah, we've got to get back up to the roadway or to the dirt track. It was quite a climb getting down here. One little tip I want to give you, and I notice this all the time, whenever you're out on these hikes or walks and you're looking pretty much straight ahead for what you think is that perfect shot, make sure you take a moment, look left, look right, look up, look down, and most of all, turn around. So many times I've seen on videos when you look behind myself or the photographer in the video, a spectacular image. And sometimes we just walk right by them. And I have done that, and I will do that. But just take that time to look around. This is great, by the way. Oh yeah. Right here we have a cedar fence. Now it's a cedar fence running along a farm field. It looks like that field is lying fallow this year. Fine. But it's a pretty little fence. It's a cedar rail fence. It's got a little bit of color change on some of the leaves, and it's got a little bit of dappling from the sunshine poking through the trees. So we're going to try to take a shot of that. Now, I'm just hand holding, again, Canon 7D 18 to 55mm kit lens. Let's see what we get. Okay, so right now I have an f-stop of 4.5. I want to show a little bit of depth of field here. I have an ISO of 100, and I have 1/80th of a second. Boom. Hey, let's take a look at that. Let's see what we got. It really is peaceful. It's beautiful. We're actually not that far, by the way, from a major highway. It's only another mile down the road. The last leg of this particular hike is about 1.5 miles to 2 miles along the side of that major highway. So at that point, I'll just be turning you guys off and putting you in my backpack, and just getting into that last couple of mile hike. Well, We're just arriving back at the car. Something I want to show you. We're in what's called the Niagara Escarpment. Let me show you the sign. There. So that's where we are. That's where we've been. As I say, we're getting back to the car now. It's been again amazing. Man. Sometimes you just don't know how beautiful things are until you actually almost close your eyes to look at them. Really is amazing. Hey, Gary here with Gary Clayton Photography. If you like this video, please say so. Give me a like, give me a share, leave a comment, please subscribe. Have a great day.